What's up, everybody? It's me, the Tabletop Tyrant, or today you guys can call me Greg because we are going to do Talks with Tyrant, Episode 1, working title, bear with me. So, for anyone that knows, there's a Beastman video that's supposed to be coming out. It's going to come out this Friday at 6:30 Central Standard Time. My wife, and my entire family got utterly destroyed by a fever. I have no idea if it came out of the Liber Catica when I was reading the Book of Nurgle, if I uttered something I shouldn't have, but for 2 weeks ago, my kids got it, and they passed that crap back and forth so it could metastasize and become just this ultimate virus of whoop ass, to the point where when my wife and I got it, we were just taken out. It was like fevers, cold sweats, coughing, fluid in lungs, awful, nasty, bogus crap. But I'm finally on the up and up with it, but I'm waiting to re-record the Beastman because I still have to edit out a bunch of coughing, and it's just a pain in the ass. And typically something like that gets views, and I don't want to be in there like coughing and sounding like crap while I present information. So today, I kind of just want to tell you what to expect with the Talks from the Tyrant, something quick and simple. These are going to be a little bit more off the cuff, where you get to see just me as a person and kind of hang out and maybe throw me on while we hobby or talk. I'll have interviews. I'm working on talking to a couple people that did some awesome sculpts. I'll showcase maybe an old book like Tamarcon, or right in front of me now I have 4th edition Apocalypse, which I'm probably going to talk about tomorrow. And we're just going to hang out and kind of talk about the hobby. For a while, I felt a little bit like I needed to do some 40K or some heresy, but not make a bunch of like content on it. Just kind of go into it and share it, or share a painting video, and I feel like this is the best way to kind of do that. I don't want to go through and do the army breakdowns for 40K or for heresy. Because I don't play current 40K or current Horse Heresy games. I own the books, but I don't really much particularly get time in with the edition. Most of my friends still play all the old editions, so we just stick with what we enjoy, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know what I mean? And I know I had a couple people ask me, hey, when are you going to do Heresy? Or hey, when are you going to do some 40K? Or can you talk about this? And this will be something where I don't need to put a lot of time and effort into like doing the research behind something, reading the army, putting it out there. This is just me like, hey, yo, what do you think about this, guys? Hey, guys, what do you think about this? Like up on the horizon, I think next week we're going to talk about Paradise Lost. It's an old poem about Satan turning from God. And it has a lot, believe it or not, of striking resemblances to Horus's betrayal. And I think the author took and borrowed some of the stuff from that to help kind of with the idea of Horus. And I want to dive into that with you guys and share it. I think there's a lot of real world history. We got the Epic of Gilgamesh right now, the oldest story written by humanity. And I'm going through the actual text with the clay tablet and going through and finding a bunch of research papers. And I want to present the information and kind of talk about it. I like real world history. I like Warhammer 40K, but I also like real history too. And I want to share that with everybody. Especially if it correlates to something Warhammer related, or I can draw a parallel. I would love to be able to do that with you guys, or open it up for you guys to see if I missed something, so that's stuff that I want to do with the Tyrant Talks. Also, it's going to be a place where I can interview people that maybe come on the channel frequently. I had Toaster Slayer on talking about the Emperor's Children. I know there's Kagan Crow, who's been big on the channel. Already a bunch of guys that I want to get on here where we can just kind of come on and chat and throw links and get each other's communities kind of swapped around and get each other out there about propping the community up. I think that's the biggest thing that we can all do for one another, is just really, share our audiences and build each other up, And this would be something where I'd love to have people on where I can talk with them and chat with them and, get to know them. I think that's the best thing about this hobby, is coming across people that you would never have normally met. And having streamed on Twitch for like the last couple years and doing this, I've met some fantastic people that are across the world that I've really connected with, and I think it's awesome. So I kind of want to use it for that as well. Now, today I want to talk about a little bit about 40K. So I'm going to bring some stuff to the channel. I just don't want to bring crazy amounts to it. And for the same reason I was about to say before, is I don't want to seem like I jump from content to content to content. One thing when I set my mission out to kind of do videos is I do these for fun. I'm not going to try and chase the dragon here on things or say things I disagree with to be in favor with anybody. I don't talk bad about Games Workshop or the company solely because I'm not overly a negative person or a critical person of it. And some of the stuff that I may have problems with in edition, like 10th edition, I may not like that there's no Force Org, but I play editions where there is Force Org, so it doesn't affect me on the whole. It was the same thing when Age of Sigmar became a thing. I played Age of Sigmar 1.0. I enjoyed it, but I was still able to enjoy 8th edition. So it's just one of those things where I'm not affected by certain decisions, and I don't feel the need to propagate anything that doesn't really bother me. I don't know. It doesn't make sense. I don't want to. I don't want to talk about things that are negative, not because I don't think that they're problems or because I want to. I want to be on GW's good graces. I just don't personally care, if that makes sense. I think, like, someone was like, what do you think about these prices? Well, they're expensive, and if you don't like it, you can 3D print or find proxies or not buy from the company. I mean, those are your options. I don't know how many ways there is for me to say that to somebody or why I would need to make a video on it. But it's just my own personal opinions, I guess. Like, I 3D print, I buy models, I don't buy models, I proxy models, I run just blank bases on a movement tray if I want to see if a unit's good. I'll play tabletop freaking simulator. I guess, like, for me, it's like I don't dwell on the problems, I just find a solution to what I don't like. And me and my buddy Nate, that I mostly game with, are both Marines, and we both really problem solve well together. We're like, hey, I don't like this. Okay, let's not do it. Like, okay, like for example, like with Heresy, we don't like the reactions. Okay, we won't do reactions. And there it is. Because my life is so busy with kids and life and everything else under the freaking sun, I don't really waste my time being pissed about something. I just kind of, problem solve it and move on. When it comes to the lore and stuff, I enjoy the lore well enough. I play it. I like it. It's fun. I like reading the books. When they change something and I don't like it, it's like, okay, I guess that's whatever. It doesn't affect me, I guess, is my thing. And I don't want you guys thinking like, oh, he just talks positive. I don't really care if I get like a sponsorship or anything from the G-dubs. That's not my point with this channel. I don't really give a crap about that. I just don't feel the need to be negative because I feel like every time there's an issue, it's just, oh, I just won't do that. It just seems simple to me, in my opinion. So that's just my thing. So no, it's not that there's not problems and I'm only bringing this up because someone had asked me about it. It's not that I don't see problems with the company or that I don't like the prices or this or that. It's just if I simply don't like something, I just don't buy it. It's the same thing with YouTube. If I watch a video I don't like, I don't go out of my way and be like, dude, you fucking suck. I just don't watch it. I feel like that's kind of how I was raised. And my pops has always kind of been like, hey, if you don't like something, you don't have to make a big deal about it. Just, don't do it, So this is what I do. I take that probably into my adult life, and hopefully my kids take that away from me children. So that is just something I'm about. I don't complain about the company because I just don't care. I care about enjoying my hobby and not making it something that I loathe at the end of the day. So that's why to the couple people that have asked over the few months, that's why I don't talk about things that I have issues with, because to me, they're just such a small issue at the grand scheme of things that I don't need to perpetuate. There's enough people that do it, that do a good job of talking about the issues, that can break down the financials and how much something costs or why this is that. To me, it's a simple, it costs this much. You're either going to find a justification for it or you are not. And, there's plenty of great proxies. There's great alternatives. There's alternatives to models. There's alternatives to Warhammer now. You don't even need to play the models. You can go play TTS. I just feel like for me, I just find the solution to whatever my issue is, and then it becomes no longer an issue. So that's just where I'm at with that. Why do I not talk about 40K a whole lot? So 40K is a system where I genuinely really enjoy it. I love 40K. I love Chaos Space Marines. They're the only faction I actually like in 40K. And that's not to say any of the other ones are bad. I just don't, particularly care to play them. I like the orcs too, I guess, but Chaos Space Marines are just such a fun, mix of crazy with their models, their units, the aesthetic of them. As much as I hate painting the trim, I love the way it looks. I like just the dark aspect of them, and I like their demon engines a lot. I think if I was to play a second army, it would be the Lost and the Damned. I'm currently printing up troops for that to do for my 4th edition army. I'm using the Eye of Terror, the Eye of Terror campaign rules in the back for that. And it's been a lot of fun kind of being able to have some of the creative freedom to go through and dive into that. I don't cover 40K a whole lot because like I said, I feel like I don't have much to offer the 40K community other than, hey, this is what I enjoy, or hey, here's an old book. I like this book and here's why. Or hey, I still play, like I said, 4th, 5th, 7th edition here and there. We don't obviously play the formations, but again, it's one of those problems where it's like, yeah, I had an issue with formations in 7th, so we just, friend wide don't use it unless it's Apocalypse. There's always, and I guess that's something I should say, Apocalypse has always had formations in it. So when 7th edition came out, my friend group was kind of just more like, hey, let's just save these formations for Apocalypse games, and we all just kind of went with it. I guess that's the perks, is like I don't go to a shop, so I'm very far removed from any type of shop politics, really. I mostly just game with my friends. And I think with 40K, I just feel like I want to do a lot of content with it, but like I've been in such a funk when it comes to my hobby. And what do I mean by like a hobby funk? Like I'm sitting here on some awesome Chaos Space Marines, and I want to do them Sons of Horus colors. And for some reason, I stopped myself because I'm like, they were wiped out. And I was like, dude, who gives a shit? Paint them Sons of Horus and get them done. And that, bam, right there is where I get stuck with content. I'm going to start talking about 40K stuff and heresy stuff because I enjoy it. And I don't need to like find this justification because you guys are either going to watch it or you're not, right? And it's just like crazy how you can get in your own head and do this. And two, like I'm not big on the internet and stuff. Like this is, since I started Twitch like a couple of years ago, this has been like I gone from the Cretaceous period to like current present day. I'm a caveman, you know what I mean? So like I'm still figuring out what it even means to be on the internet. Like, the point that I'm making is it's like, dude, this is YouTube. I can just make it about me and just talk about what I want to talk about today. And today I just wanted to have this random rabble. Tomorrow we're going to talk about the apocalypse and go into some of that and talk about 40K, and I'm going to start painting some cool stuff and doing some interviews with people. But I want to wrap it up on this before I run my suck too long and you guys are like, dude, shut the fuck up. So let's wrap it up. Tomorrow I'll be back. I'm probably going to talk a little bit about either Apocalypse or Tamarcon, depending on how I'm feeling. And we're going to open up the book and do a top down and look through some of the stuff and talk about why it's just so freaking awesome. But yeah, I don't know what this was. Talks with Tyrant, episode 1. Peace.